Welcome back. Now, as you have seen what is matter and what is mass, next one we will see this physical state of matter. What do you mean by physical state of matter? It means this matter, whatever we have, it changes its form from one form into the other form. So that is known as physical state. For example, now I have a butter here, okay? As you can see, this butter is in the solid form. Now, if I take a pan and heat the butter, what happens? The butter becomes into liquid. This process, okay, the process of a solid turning into a liquid, this is called as melting. It is called as what? Melting, because the shape of the mass has been changed. Here, what is the shape of the mass? The shape of the mass was a solid, and suddenly when you heat it, what happens? The mass becomes into liquid. So that is called as it has changed its shape from solid into liquid. So that process is called as melting. Now I have got a glass of water. Now what happens if I boil the water? If I boil the water, what happens? The water evaporates. The water turns into water vapor. Or we can take an example again. I've got a kettle here. So I'm going to switch the kettle on. Okay, and you can see the experiment. Okay, the kettle is on. So here you can see the kettle is a matter, the water is a mass. So what happens? What happens is, as you can see, the kettle started boiling. I mean, the kettle is heated and the water inside the kettle is boiling. So we'll stay here for 2 minutes and then see what happens to the water here. It's taking a little longer, but not long, I hope. It's coming up now. It's taking a bit longer. I'm sorry guys, I had to put the kettle on earlier. I didn't. But doesn't matter. Not end of the world. It's taking its own sweet time. Not long. So you can see some bubbles there. So it's taking a long time. Still boiling. I'm sorry I have to make you wait for such a long time, but not long, okay? It's almost there now, so not long. See, as you can see the water vapor here, the water is starting to boil and you can see the vapor. See this vapor, water vapor. This is getting this process. Okay, this process, the liquid is changing its shape into the gaseous form. Okay, you can see, and it is escaping in the environment. This change of physical state from liquid into gases, okay, this is called as evaporation. What is this? The liquid here is what is happening, is change it into a gaseous form. You can see here it's converting into water vapor and then it's evaporating disappearing in the environment. And this process from change of state from liquid into gases is called as evaporation. Now what happens, you can do this experiment at home later whenever you have time. Now I have got this water, okay, I'm going to place this water here, okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm quickly going to close it with the lid. And what happens, all the water vapor that's collected, okay, the steam that is collected under the plate, it becomes liquid. And that process here, from the steam it has become into liquid, and that process is called as condensation. Why? Because there is a change of matter or change of mass that has from vaporization, it has turned back into liquid. Okay, so you can see here, you can try that experiment whenever you're at home later. So this is the change of matter. Then the next thing, what happens, you have an ice cube. What do? You take the liquid, or you take this bowl of water or a glass of water, and you keep it in the freezer. And once you keep it in the freezer, what happens, it turns into solid, and that is called as freezing. Why? Again, there is a change of shape. That is the change of form. The mass was in the liquid form, then that has turned into a solid form, and that process is called as freezing. So what have you seen in this example today? In this example, you have seen what is a matter. Matter is what? It is nothing but it occupies the space and the volume. That is known as matter. What is a mass? Mass is the content of the matter. Mass absorbs the volume of the matter. The bigger the matter is, the bigger the mass is. Smaller the mass is, smaller the matter is. So there is a direct relationship. One increases, the other one also increases. We call this sort of relationship as a direct relationship, or you also can call it as a linear relationship. And if one increases, the other one decreases, we call that as an inverse relationship or non-linear relationship. So kindly understand this term, that is direct and inverse. In direct, one increases, the other one increases. In inverse, one decreases, the other one decreases. So that is called as inverse relationship. In case of matter and the mass, what you have seen, there is a direct relationship between the mass and the matter. The next one, what you have seen is the physical state. What is a physical state? Physical state is nothing but it is the mass. Mass changes its shape from one form into the other form. Okay, so that is called as physical state. For example, this butter which I have, you can see the butter. This is in the solid form, okay, and when I melt it, okay, when I heat it, what happens? It becomes into liquid. So the shape of the mass is being changed from solid, it is turned out into a liquid, and that process of change of form from solid into liquid is called as what? It is called as melting. The other form of example you have seen is the boiling of the water in the kettle. Water is in the form of a liquid, but as you have seen in the example, when I switch on the kettle, the water boils, and when the water boils, it changes into vapor and then disappears into the atmosphere. And there again, the change of shape, the water has changed into a gaseous form, and that is called as evaporation. And the next form you have is the condensation. What happens? You can do this example experiment at home on day-to-day life. So when you boil the water, when you put the plate over it, what happens? Instead of the vapor evaporating in the atmosphere, it gets trapped in the inside of the plate. And when it cools down, the same steam, the same vapor, it gets back converted into liquid, and that is called as condensation. And the last form you have seen day to day, if I keep this water, okay, if I keep this glass of water in the freezer, and if I take it out after some time, it becomes solid. So again, the shape is changed from liquid, it's become to solid, and that point is called as freezing. And I've got another task, a small task for you. You can take a free ice cuber, put some water, keep it in the fridge, and don't take it out for months. And you observe what happens to this ice cube. The ice cube becomes smaller and smaller. The question is why? And that is the thing you have to find out. Why does the ice cube becomes smaller and smaller in the fridge, in the freezer, if you keep it for a longer time? I hope you enjoyed my class. Thank you. Bye.